Hello, ladies. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name's Angela, for those of you that don't know me yet, and I am a women's health specialist. I've been working as a healthcare professional in the field of women's health for over 20 years, and I really look forward to bringing you topics that help you understand why you're having the symptoms that you're having as you start to transition towards and into menopause, and what we can do to help you. So I want to talk today about a symptom that I have actually just been on calls and working with women. Ironically, over the last couple of weeks, it's happened over and over again. And so it's a topic I really want to bring to you. And that is hormone imbalance that is causing heavy bleeding. So many women notice as they get into their 40s and beyond that the periods change. Either the timing of them changes, how often they come around, how long they last, or how heavy the bleeding is changes. And if the bleeding gets significantly worse and very heavy, sometimes women tell me that it's not only heavy bleeding, there's clotting. They find that they're leaking. It's so uncomfortable. They feel like they can barely leave the house. They're housebound. They have to cancel work, cancel other social events. They're just barely able to function. They have really low energy because of the heavy bleeding, and they just don't know what to do about it. And so I do want to reflect to you that there is something you can do about it. And I want to share with you something about a client that I've been working with who's had amazing results. And so what she initially did was, she did go to her conventional health practitioner and ask what could be done. And the first thing they did was they said, let's trial an IUD that has some hormone in it. Many of you may be familiar with the Mirena, and this is something that's used very commonly, not necessarily for birth control. It can be used for that as well, but it's often used to help with heavy bleeding. And this did work for this client short term. It did slow down her bleeding. It got lighter. She had some spotting, and then she just had a very light period. But over time, it actually came back, even though she was on the IUD, and it got worse again. And so this solution was very temporary for her. And so she decided to take it out because she wasn't using it for birth control. And then the next solution they tried was a birth control to try and take it continuously to stop the bleeding from coming. This didn't work at all. The bleeding didn't stop. So she decided to discontinue that. And then the next solution was to try bringing in some hormone replacement therapy, some bioidentical hormones, progesterone primarily, because this is something that can help to lighten and slow down the flow. So this did again work for a short period of time. It actually worked for 2 cycles for this client, and then it came back again. And the bleeding almost came back with a vengeance this last time. It was heavier than it had ever been. She just could barely leave the house, and it was happening for 3-4 days out of the month when her period was lasting 7 or 8 days. So she said she just couldn't manage. She didn't know what to do. The next offering was for her to have a hysterectomy. So she didn't want a hysterectomy, and that's why she came to me. And so we were looking at what her options were, given what she'd already tried. And the first option was we decided that we needed to do a Dutch hormone test. So this is a functional lab test that looks at how all your hormones are being utilized, but it also looks at several other hormones and several other things that could be contributing to the hormones potentially being out of balance. And so we did start to understand what was happening with this client. She had, which is very common for women in this time period of life as the hormones are shifting and changing on the way to and towards menopause, she had estrogen dominance. And so she had just had too much estrogen, and the body just had no way to process and keep up with that processing. So the lining got thicker and thicker throughout the month, and then she would have a heavy bleed. So we had to figure out how to help her with her estrogen dominance. And when we looked at the Dutch test, we looked at how her body was actually processing her estrogen. That was the main problem for her. And this is often the case. It's not that the body's producing too much estrogen, especially as you get closer to menopause, because there's actually less and less production as you get closer to menopause. The primary processing areas, which are the liver and the gut, were just not working efficiently to help the body move this estrogen through, detox it, and get rid of the excess. So we actually had some strategies that could help her with her liver and her gut to detoxify estrogen. It did involve some lifestyle strategies. It did involve changing what she was doing with her diet. She had to eat more of what we would call an anti-inflammatory food plan. She was eating a lot more fish, a lot less meat, a lot more vegetables, and she was eating less sugar, less carbohydrates. And this, combined with the proper supplements to help her with her liver and her gut to support these detox pathways, helped her periods to lighten up more and more and more each cycle, until 4 cycles later, she was having what she would have called a normal period, something that she would have experienced before all this started happening. So this was a solution for her, and this often is a solution for many. And I find many just don't understand that there is the potential to have access to this. So to do the lab testing, to understand why the hormones potentially might be out of balance as one of the root causes of this heavy bleeding, and then to really look at the whole body as a way of providing and finding finding a solution. So my client is absolutely elated. She doesn't have to get a hysterectomy. She feels like she's able to carry on with her everyday life. She can be back to her regular activities throughout the month. She doesn't have to have this period of time where she just shuts everything down and basically stays indoors in her house. So she really feels like she's got her life back. So I just want to let you know that this is out there. Again, I am a functional practitioner. I've worked in the area of women's health, both as a conventional practitioner and also as a functional practitioner for many, many years. And I know women like you might be suffering from this. I know it's very, very common. And I just want to let you know that there is something you can do. So if you are interested in learning how you could connect with me, you can reach out to me by going to my website, www.angelasimpsonfunctionalmedicine.ca. And there is a place there for you to book a free complimentary consult for us to discuss your health and understand if it potentially could be a good fit for us to work together. There also is some mini courses that you can join if you go through and look at my website. There's other ways for you to connect as well by becoming a member of my Facebook group, where there's a lot of information provided. Some of the stuff that I gave you here, there's going to be more of that there, and you're going to have a community of support of women that can also help you understand what you need to do for your next best steps to help you heal and rebalance your hormones for the long term. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for coming to the YouTube channel, and I look forward to bringing you more videos in the near future. Okay, bye for now.